Well, how it's as far as how martial arts has influenced my work as an actor, or I mean, I
As an
as an
individual,
yeah, as
and
an
then everything else.
one hundred
Yeah.
percent, yeah, as an individual, it's like a continual evolution, especially my now coming into 8 years with jiu-jitsu. Like I tell
Wow.
people, like, hey, you want to really learn to humble yourself, do jujitsu. Do jujitsu, give jujitsu, and you will find you will meet yourself
Yeah.
if you give it if you give it a chance. So yeah, it I have found martial arts about that aspect, about reintroducing myself to
Hmm.
myself. Favorable, sometimes unfavorable aspects
Yeah. Yeah.
of myself that need refinement and that I continue to refine.
Hmm.
And yeah, and especially now, this part of my journey, which I know is an ongoing, forever journey, becoming more comfortable with some
Yeah.
of those uncomfortable parts
Sure.
of yourself, how you handle and mitigate yourself and parts of yourself under pressure,
Yeah.
in unfamiliar environments,
Yeah.
being consistent and disciplined without being rigid
Yep.
is another really important aspect that I've been weaving into self, and that is something that you get an opportunity to explore on the mat,
Yep.
on the mat, which is what a big fan of jujitsu, in
Mhm.
that it's like real time problem solving
Yeah.
with I mean, people say high stake
Yeah.
consequences. I know, like Rogan would say, it's with yoga with or murder yoga with extreme consequences.
Yeah.
It is, but then again, also when you're training,
Yeah.
the other part of it is once you get past the ego, it's really
Yeah.
not about losing
Yeah.
or getting submitted, even though
Yeah.
that part of your parasympathetic nervous system is like, oh,
Yeah.
I could be dead. But it's like, oh, I have an opportunity now
Yeah.
to approach this problem again.
Yeah.
That I
Problem
might,
solving,
that
right?
it's problem solving.
Is the
Yeah.
chess? Is the
It's
chess game?
100% that. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times you go, you talked about a couple of things there. Comfort in discomfort. That's
Yeah.
a big deal with jiu-jitsu. Like you
100%.
got a big guy smashing you, you kind of like. I remember my blue belt days.
Yeah.
I would look at a clock and say, "I'm gonna before I quit, I'm gonna wait for a minute," and then a minute would pass. Okay, I'm gonna try another minute. I was literally trying to convince myself not to tap out or quit for no reason because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You know, you said something else about discipline, about being humble, especially when you come from a different martial arts. I understand. You originally, if correct me if I'm mistaken, you're also a Taekwondo black belt, correct?
Yeah, I am. I am.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
Little bit rusty. I
That's
say
okay.
when I say that because when I see some of these things now, I'm like, oh wow, I used to fly like that. But yeah, yeah, I still keep it up. Yeah, I trained in Taekwondo and Aikido for about 10 years. I got my black belt under Jun Kim and Choi, who were
Wow.
multiple time Korean national champions
Uh huh.
and great guys. And I haven't seen them in a minute, but
Hmm.
learned a lot from them and in their particular approach to
Yeah.
Taekwondo, which is great because I seeing a lot of that, which has already always been there, but surface in UFC still. You know what I mean? Where
100%.
their approach was a very, and especially my my former master in Taekwondo, Jun Kim. He's like, I grew up in. He's like I grew up on the streets, and
Yep.
and so we use this as a self defense.
Right.
They hadn't known jujitsu, but they use this as a self defense. So yeah, so I did that for a number of years, and just was looking to transition to something else,
Hmm.
and kind of slowed down on training in that particular part of my life, but
Right.
those principles still have stuck with me.
Hmm.
Whether the mechanics of it are still
Right.
with me,
It's like
and
learning how to ride a bike.
it's like learning how, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like learning how to ride. It's like learning how to ride a bike, and then sometimes I see things, I'm like, oh, it's yeah,
Yeah.
this is yeah. It's like, oh, I used to teach this, or,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. But yeah, and also the philosophy. You know what I mean?
That's the part. That's the part that I feel a lot of times people don't take in consideration.
Yeah,
I think the philosophical aspect of martial arts is so impactful because you can be a good fighter, but
100%.
the main goal is to be a better person.
100%.
And I don't think you can accomplish that without a degree of philosophical approach. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I'm going like back into my 20s when I was competing, and maybe a little bit more also hard-headed. And you could have the best technique, you could have the most vigor and the heart of the lion and whatnot, but it really is the philosophy on how you apply that. Otherwise, you can you just end up being a knucklehead, getting himself into I got myself into found myself in a couple of situations
Yeah,
when I was younger and different fights and whatnot. And you look back on certain things and you're like, to your point, the philosophy. And as you mature, regardless of your age, right? As you mature and you really start to practice that philosophy, some situations it's not about it's not about you being able to impose your will on a person. It's being able to impose that upon yourself. You know what I mean? And again, keep yourself calm and comfortable and focused in uncomfortable situations, and not be so reactive.
you always brings to mind one image that I have.
Yeah.
It's the most clear expression of the philosophy. It's like the Spider-Man moment.
Oh yeah.
Like with great power
comes great
responsibility,
Yeah,
man. And a lot of times people don't realize if you have martial arts, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Right? But it has to be powerful in a way that you control yourself.
100.
You know what you're capable of, but you're always going to be restrained, self-restrained, and know that because you know what you're capable of, the likelihood of you infringing upon it will be less likely. I remember back in Brazil, there was one part of the beach that every single inch was occupied by the fighter.
Wow.
A Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, a Luta Livre guy who's like a no-gi blend of Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling.
Yeah.
And nobody would mess up with each other. Everybody was cordial. And because they knew that everybody kind of could stand their ground.
Yeah.
So do you have that implicit kind of like a vibe? But on the other hand, when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have your skills, it makes you you negotiate without imposing your power, like you said.
For sure.
You're humble.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're strong.
Yeah. You don't know, like, because it's like you don't know what you don't know, and then you come across certain situations, or even now training, where I couldn't see myself at this part of my life getting into a street altercation. Like, it literally is so far removed, because I would just stand down, you know what I mean, or remove myself from that situation. And it's a combination of the two. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. This person talking to me, or maybe one of my friends, or my girlfriend at the time, or something like that, saying something that you can still protect and defend, but de-escalating. I think being able to de-escalate a situation is an important skill, part of martial arts, because you don't know what you don't know, and they don't know what they don't know. And
that's true.
It's not.
It's
worth
a question
finding
mark.
out. It's
And
not
nowadays,
it's not worth finding out.
Nowadays,
it's not worth.
if
Right?
you're here in Texas, for instance, the odds are very high somebody has a gun.
Yeah. So what's the point, right?
And anywhere somebody has a blade or something, it's not that. If you have to defend yourself, you're going to do what you can with what you got.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But being wise, I guess.
Yeah, there's
that's
nothing to
the main
prove.
thing.
I think that's what it is. Like, and that's the thing now. Is like, there's nothing.
I agree.
There's nothing to prove. Even to myself, there aren't things that I'm trying to even. There are challenges, I suppose. There's for sure challenges, but I don't get that sense that there's something that I really need to prove to myself. I'll set a challenge and, like, hey, let's go after that challenge with a technique, problem solving or a situation. But it really is, which might have sounded a little bit like Pollyanna or booky to me a few years back, but it really is like, oh, I'm really the fight is against myself. The challenge is against
the
really,
person in the mirror,
really
right?
It really
Isn't the person in the mirror the main one?
Yeah, and it
Crazy,
really
right?
is. Yeah, and then you think that, and I would think that, I would hear them like, yeah, and then you go on the mat, and then maybe this guy or that guy, whoever it is, for like month after month after month, is smashing you, and you look in the mirror, the fight is against myself. The fight is against myself. The fight is against myself. And then at some point, it really is like, oh yeah, the fight really is against myself.